Congresswoman Lisa McClain of Michigan, thank you so much for being here. I do want to talk about those cuts in a second, but I do want to start with the news of the day. President Trump announced that Mexico would be exempt from the tariffs that he announced. That will happen, or at least they'll be exempt until April 2nd. There's been so much confusion about this, Congresswoman. He announced the tariffs, he walked some back, he lifted these, and we're seeing in real time that the markets are not responding well to this chaos. What do you say to your constituents on Main Street who are confused and worried, both the people and the business owners?
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate being on your show. And I've been in contact with my constituents. Obviously, you know, I'm from Macomb County. Michigan is a heavily manufacturing state. They are optimistic more than anything. We ran on, and President Trump ran on, reducing the size of government. He ran on an unconventional method to get this country back on track. And I don't know that I agree with the premise 100%. I think a lot of the people are giving him some grace. Yes, he is moving at the speed of light. There is no question. But the goal is to actually reduce the size of government so that government works better for the people. Well, let's stick with tariffs, though.
I want to get to the government in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to get to the Doge situation in a second.
Sure.
But the tariffs, I mean, you mentioned Macomb County. I was just talking to Peter Hamby about a focus group that he did. I mean, it's probably the most famous political county in the country. I don't need to tell you. And there are concerns broadly, but specifically, I mean, I don't know if you can see, but on the side of the screen as we're talking, it shows the Dow just today is down more than 500 points.
Yeah.
That shows
and tomorrow
that
it might be up
businesses
500
are very
points.
uncertain.
I mean, and tomorrow
I understand. It's the uncertainty.
Well, and as you know, the Dow could be up tomorrow 500 points. So we have to take a look at the stock market in a period of time. You can look at any one day and be like, oh my gosh, the certainty is great because it's up 500 points. So I think there's a difference between taking a look at short term. I think it's the difference between taking a look at short term and long term. And I will share this. It is going to take some unconventional methods to get us out of the mess that we've been in the past 4 years with the EV mandates, with unfair trades. And this shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. And again, I've done meetings with people in my community, with auto workers in my communities, and they are absolutely giving the president and Republicans grace and are actually applauding us because we are actually trying to do exactly what we campaigned on, which is different than the last administration, which is trying to bring more investments back into the United States, which is exactly what's happening in the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan with the investments that Apple's just making. So as much as we want to focus on and all the fear mongering of all the negative, we also need to tell the other side of the story, which is all the positive investment that is coming into great states like mine in Michigan. So I think it's going to take some unconventional wisdom to get us out of this mess that we've been in. Remember, we have to have free trade agreements, but we also have to have fair trade agreements. And that's exactly what we're trying to do and the president's trying to do. And I would argue accomplishing, right? So as you said, with the uncertainty, it's a negotiation tool. We are using tariffs and any other tool that we have in our bag to make sure that America is respected again and that we get back to fair trade agreements that incentivize business and manufacturing in America. And tariffs are only one tool in the bag to do that.
I do want to quickly ask about some of the cuts. I know you met, you and other Republicans in the House met with Elon Musk yesterday, and he admitted that he has made some mistakes. Have you said to him, asked him or others point blank, can you be a little bit more aware of the human cost here? I mean, you have a significant number of federal workers in your district, and you're nowhere near Washington, D.C.
Yeah, that was one of the topics of conversation last night. And what I can say is I am impressed and proud with the level of transparency that DOJ and the Republicans and President Trump is doing. We're not hiding anything. And you know what? I don't think the Americans want perfection. I do think they expect progress and transparency. So we actually had those conversations last night, right? Because we want to make sure if we are limiting the size and reducing the size of the bloated bureaucracy, that we are doing that in an effective manner, right? We don't want to touch
But it's
the
pretty
doctors
messy.
and
Are
the
you
nurses.
okay with that?
We don't want to touch the doctors and nurses. We want to make sure that we reduce the size and scope of government. You know what? Democracy is messy, and I wish it was perfect. Unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world, but it is going to take unconventional wisdom. We're $36 trillion in debt. We don't have time to make sure that we get everything absolutely perfect. But what I can say is when we do make a mistake, we don't try and hide behind it. We actually try and fix it. And that's what the American people want and respect.
Lisa McClain, the chair of the House Republican Conference, thank you so much for being here. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you. Thank you.